to a reunion, a secret family reunion, and they realize that their family is involved with the cult, and there's a sort of inheritance that they have to give over into. So it's sort of like a gothic thriller in that way, and there's a sort of ancient relationship that they've made.
You can call that a relationship. Yeah, I like that. It's a relationship.
That they've made with the past, that now they have to come back to.
Wow. Is there any films that you would compare it to?
Yeah, when I was writing the film, I was thinking of Rosemary's Baby and The Shining. So those were films that were in my head.
Okay. Black horror, that's something different. That's
Yeah.
Or just a horror.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
With black folks in it.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Yes.
Predominantly.
And a new
Okay.
villain, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
Exactly.
wow. So how did you feel?
Actually, when I read the script, I really enjoyed it. I've never done a horror film before, and I said that I would never do one until I actually read this script.
Okay.
And I play a young griot in the film, if there is such a thing. And but it really is an interesting story that's told, because a lot of times we hear about family relationships or grandparents, people are researching bloodlines, and I think this is a interesting way to see how we could have possibly made it from where we came from into the future.
Well, I want to chime in with a question. You know, in most horror films, what happened to the black guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Exactly. In our horror
It's
film,
the
we
direct
last to the
opposite.
bitter end.
That's right.
The other ones might not make it. That's our little homage to the other horror
Exactly.
films, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the other films that we might have seen you in?
Nothing, because I'm a producer.
Okay.
I'm like nothing. You've seen nothing, but yeah.
A lot of people know me from the television series Soul Food, where I played Lem Van Adams, Stomp the Yard, The Express, where I played Jim Brown, coming soon, Tekken. There's quite a few films that I've done, and hopefully people will continue. Again, The Inheritance is a really dynamic film, because it is in the vein of those great horror films that we saw. And I think that this is going to be our future of black filmmakers, and it's just a really dynamic film, so hopefully people will go out and see it and support it.
Okay.
Now, Liv, you're going from dancing to teaching people how to dance, soul food, not to a horror. What drew you to this particular project?
Again, it was very well written. I also wanted to work with Effie, and then when I got to read Robert's work, I said I absolutely wanted to do this. I think projects as an actor is really about telling the truth in the story, and I was so connected to how he was telling the story that I wanted to be one of the storytellers in it, and I was just glad to be a part of it.
Now, I see a director up here, producer up here, and a star actor. How did this happen? Because normally in Hollywood, this is kind of hard to pull these producers and power players together on one film.
Because we're a powered panel here.
I call this chocolate Sunday.
I'm like, watch out. Exactly. I'm like, you're not ready for this. Actually, I read Robert's script a little while ago, and I became a huge fan of it. At the time, another producer that I dare not mention had it, but I waited and bided my time, and then I was able to option it a little while ago. And then we came together. I convinced him to work with me and to make this movie.
He pulled my arm.
I did. And then the pieces fell together rather quickly. We actually got our financing. We're very, very grateful from Jermaine O'Neal, who is an athlete who plays for the Miami Heat. We're very excited about that. We love him. Like, thank you for the money, sir. And then also Queen Nefertari Productions also gave us some money as well, which is a black film fund. And then we were grateful to get the likes of Darrin. Like, when people like Darrin started coming on, then it was cake.
Yeah.
Now, is that the new way of kind of financing, quote unquote, minority black films? Is to go and find the money somewhere else who will give you the freedom to do what you want to do?
It's not the new way, it's the only way. I'm waiting. We're hoping that this film, what's interesting about this is that we're hoping that this is a launch of a franchise. So we had to sort of get our little grassroots money together by people who could believe, because there aren't a lot of black horror films out there that are of quality. We weren't doing a slasher film, we weren't doing Saw, we were doing something that was a step above. And Jermaine O'Neal and Cynthia Stafford were able to understand that, and then they gave us the money that we needed. And then with actors like Darrin Henson, DeWitt Henson, and Keith David and Golden Brooks, those people started coming on, and they all believed. So we're hoping not only to have this film, but to have number 2 and 3, and maybe the studio will get their money, maybe after.
And also from a perspective of making films, it's a great film. It was well written, well directed. So it's not that it's just black. You know, one of the things that's
good point.
yeah, being here at the ABFF is, you know, is it a compartmentalized film festival? No, anyone can come to this film festival and anyone can enjoy being here. You know, I'm very cautious to calling things black, black, black. You know, it was kind of like when I was on Soul Food, they talked about, well, what is black love like? And I was like, I don't know what that is. I know what love is like. I didn't know what a compartmentalized love is.
I want to know what love is.
I'm
like, black, whatever,
so
it's okay.
when we tell our stories, you know, it's really about us just telling our stories. We happen to be people of color, but it's not just for people of color. Anybody can go see these films the same way we go see other films with people starring in those movies that don't look like us. So it's really, it just happens to be, you know, a story with people of color, you know, telling stories about their family, I mean, and their inheritance and what they expect in life. From the elders, but again, it's not a story that only black people can come to.
Absolutely.
It's a horror film. Period.
Well, let me follow up with you guys as a producer and a director. How are you guys going to deal with that when it comes to marketing the film? That when people don't necessarily think of us as making horror films?
I actually think it's a wonderful opportunity. That's my first and foremost, because we don't have a Freddy Krueger. We don't have a Michael Myers. We don't have a Jason. All that we really had was a Candyman, and Tony Todd did a brilliant job at that.
Amazing.
But that was several, you know, a decade or so ago,
Right.
to be honest. It's now time for, as you said, the past to become present.
Right.
And that was one of the things. I think that people are really ripe for it and are waiting for it. And so much so, we've worked on the second, third, and fourth of this story, because we know that we have a lot of stories to tell. It's like an untapped market, so
It is.
I have a feeling it's going to work out really well.
And I wrote the piece because I had not seen any stories like it. So it came out of a need to actually see myself and people who look like me afraid of something. And so I wanted to do a horror movie.
So the most important thing, release date?
It's coming soon. We're actually having like a long, it's coming soon. We have 4 offers of people who want to buy the film and
Will
put
it-
it out. So we're going to see the best one.
Will it be in theaters or is it
Oh, it's
DVD?
absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm like, it's theaters. It'll be at a theater,
Okay.
VOD, as well as DVD. We're getting all the platforms.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay.